no other country, no other place in this world can compete with Ghana for. And who knows what that is? 5, 3, 2, 1. We are in the center of the world. And there's no better place for you to be than the center of the world, because that is where things happen. But of course, I mean, Ghana alone doesn't tell the whole picture, because we are centrally located. We also embrace the fact that we are spearheading the African Renaissance, the African economic and financial renaissance. And the bad perceptions that were once held of Africa are being replaced with these good stories of emerging countries offering great opportunity. And guess what? By 2050, Africa will be 1/4 of the world's population, larger than India, larger than China. It will have close to 70% of the remaining labor pool of the world, of young, aggressive, and dynamic young people. I mean, as the president said, if you can imagine that people can walk across the desert in search of a better life, can you imagine what they will do if they get the right environment and the right opportunity? But I'll quickly go through because of time, and I'll go the Ghana story. I summarize the Ghana story as the 3 O's. The first O is opportunity. It's a massive land of opportunity. Resource rich, we have gold, we have timber, we have oil, we have bauxite, we have iron ore, not fully exploited. But guess what? We even have the elements that are required for the new economies of the world, Industry 4.0. We have deposits of lithium, we have deposits of cobalt, which are critical. And as I was saying, that by 2050, Africa will be 1/4 of the world's population, and it will have 70% of the resource pool there. But that's not alone. It has 60% of the remaining arable land left in the world, 20% of the world's remaining forest. So Africa will also feed the world. But of course, Ghana, to start from Ghana. Africa will feed the world. Africa will protect the world because it has the forest that will act as a carbon sink for the degradation that is happening elsewhere. It has the youth empowered and strong, ready to confront a globe and a world that is in crisis and in transition. So we do have those resources in Ghana that will propel us. But we also have a very capable human resource pool. And the most fundamental and probably the most dynamic policy that we had under the auspices of His Excellency the President was to ensure that in the very near future, the average Ghanaian will have at least the minimum of a high school education. Can you imagine what the people so prepared will be able to do in the near future? So we are very clear on the objective, we are very clear on what we want to achieve, and we do have the resources and the opportunities to enable us achieve what we have set out to do. So I'll just quickly go through some of the opportunities directly because of time, so that we are well aware that these are the offers that we have. So our priority sectors since 2017, when His Excellency took over, have been energy. Now, this is very important because we want to transform our economy from one that is predicated on the export of raw materials and resources into one of value added and productivity. And to do that, we require energy, and we require real, consistent, reliable, and affordably priced energy to drive that new industrialization process. And on the back of that, we also have some other policies which have initiated this process, like the 1D, 1F, or 1 District, 1 Factory policy, like the Planting for Food and Jobs, which will ensure that we not only become self-sufficient and have food security, but we produce a resource for industrialization. We have the 1 dam, 1 village, 1 dam, to ensure that we have year-round productivity in production in agriculture. And so we are very clear. Now, beyond that too, we also have an aggressive infrastructure project and program. Of course, because Ghana is, and let me say this, when we first took office, His Excellency said to me 2 things, and I'm sure he wouldn't even remember. He said, there are 2 things that I want to achieve in my presidency. The first one was to make Ghana a hub for West Africa. And that was instructive, that now Ghana will be the entry point into Africa. And the second was that Ghana must be the best place to invest and do business in Africa. And I think a lot of the policies that we have initiated and put into place are directed towards that. And that's why we have an aggressive infrastructure program. We have one that integrates a massive transportation network of road, rail, air, and sea that will network Ghana and open it out into the sub-region because we want to be a hub. And because we are also industrializing, and we have the 1D, 1F, which means putting up an industrial facility in each of the 260 districts we have nationwide, we need that connectivity. And so we have a program to put in 4,007 kilometers of new railway, and I'm very happy to say our railway minister is here. He's done a phenomenal job so far, but we are yet to get further. We are also putting in 10,000 kilometers of new roads to make sure that that network is complete. Additionally, we are improving our water resources to serve as transportation as well, and we have a new airport with the view that in future we would look at a bigger airport that will be regional, and therefore serve Ghana as a hub for the sub-region and into the continent. So, but that's not all with our infrastructure. We are also looking at improving the soft infrastructure like schools, hospitals, and we have quite a number of investment opportunities in that area to ensure that we have enough physical resources to produce the human capital that would move Ghana into the country that it has to be in the future. Agro-processing is another of our priorities, and Ghana primarily is an agricultural nation. It is estimated that a good 50% of our population is engaged in the agricultural sector somewhere along the value chain. So, of course, a country that cannot feed itself cannot take any real major decisions for itself. So we are ensuring that we are self-sufficient, we can feed ourselves, and we can create a resource for industrialization. Then, of course, we have tourism. And I'm sure many who have heard of Ghana in the past few weeks or been to Ghana will bear testimony to that is one of our low-hanging fruit. And we have capitalized to improve that, to bring more people to Ghana. And the Year of the Return was a phenomenal program that brought a lot of Africans in the diaspora to Ghana. And I'm told that some of them are still stuck in there. They're finding it very difficult to go back home. And so, Mr. President, we need to develop the infrastructure to accommodate them. And then, of course, manufacturing. And as I've said before, we are transforming from a country that is just exporting our raw materials and our resources into one of value added and industrialization. I mean, can you imagine that between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, we probably do 67% of the raw cocoa beans every year? There's a global supply. But yet that's only at most a $7 to $8 billion economy. I recently just found out that the chocolate industry alone is in excess of $150 billion a year. Where should we be? We can't be just exporting the beans. We have to be in the value-added set. At the same time, Ghana, we have bauxite deposits, and we've been exporting the bauxite in raw forms for a very long time. A ton of bauxite outside the ground is $60. When it's transformed into alumina, it gets to $6,000. And further, when it's actually processed into aluminum. Where should we be? We definitely will be at the end of the value chain where there's more value. But we need investment for that. And therefore, we have engaged in this very aggressive drive to ensure that we embrace investment into the country. And that is why we're showing these ones. Openness. I did say we are a very open economy. And of course, a lot of the development planning that we are focused on achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, which for us are really infused into our budgetary system to ensure that we just do not go off and do the fancy things, but we do the necessary things. And I'm indeed very happy to say that our president, Akufo-Addo, is the co-chair of a group of eminent people for the achievement of the SDGs. So this is something we embrace in our development agenda. But beyond that, we believe in the rule of law, and one of Ghana's major selling points is the fact that we are politically very stable. We are English-speaking. We believe in the rule of law. We are in the center of the world, and we are engaged actively in reforms that will make our economy open and ensure shared growth. And therefore, we are very clear where we want to go with what we are doing. But perhaps more instructive and more fundamental
to our development agenda is the great proclamation by our president of a Ghana Beyond Aid, which is very fundamental and instructive for the rest of the continent, and will energize us to do what we have to do and bring Africa to the fore in the International Committee of Nations as well as in the world's financial markets. And the Africa Beyond Aid, we have collapsed it into what we believe is the wiser society. In proclaiming a Ghana Beyond Aid, we also proclaim that we are going to be a wiser society, which is a wealthy society, inclusive of all the partners that contribute to it, including the investors, a sustainable plan of growth and development, an empowered people, and a resilient economy that will go into the future and grow beyond our lives. But we are very optimistic. We are indeed extremely optimistic of our plans and where we want to take Ghana. And over the past 3 years, we have made some significant achievements. And as the president said before, from inheriting an economy that had significant headwinds in 2016 and growing at the lowest we had in 22 years of 3.6%. Strong fiscal consolidation, strong reforms, strong debt management meant that the next year we grew at 8.1%, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. This was further replicated in 2018, where once again we grew at 6.3% and still one of the fastest growing economies in the world. In 2019, the World Bank and the IMF projected that Ghana will be the fastest growing economy in the world. And currently we are on track to achieve beyond 6.8%. Now, where would you be? What is more optimistic than that? We believe that we have a story that is strong, impressive, attractive, and opens the door and embraces you, the investor who wants to come, so we sit down with partnerships and linkages to create a very good story. We are ready to engage. Ghana is ready to do business, and the clarion call of the Ghana Beyond Aid attracts you as a partner, an equal partner in that whole process. That come to Ghana and feel it, and you see today a Ghana unleashed. Powerful, strong young men breaking into the world. That is Ghana. And beyond that, the women are behind controlling matters. So you are safe. I'd like to end by just saying that we believe and we know that we are a land of limitless possibilities, not only because of what we have, but what's in our hearts and what we intend to do. And I crave your indulgence to listen to the heartbeat of Ghana, and you'd realize that your heart beats with it. As we usher in Ghana's decade, Africa's decade, the decade of just not return, but returns, we invite you to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana in the land of limitless opportunities. Thank you very much.